Hey everybody, Daniel here from the Truck Insurance Channel. I've got Jacob here with me today, and we're going to talk about insurance rates broken down by different states, right? So Jacob, thanks for joining. He's one of our producers here, licensed insurance agents, and he knows a thing or two about insurance at this point.
Yeah, man.
when it comes to trucking. So let's dive in.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I've talked to truckers paying, $9,000 a year for insurance, and then their buddy hauling the exact same type of freight is paying over 20 grand a year for the same exact coverages. So this varies state by state, and in this video, we're going to talk about what states we tend to see the higher priced insurance policies come out of, and maybe if you're thinking about setting up a trucking business, which state you'd be best off starting in.
Okay, cool. The gap sounds shocking.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but
Yeah. I'm sure people watching this are like, well, where do I fall, right?
Yeah.
And you see this confusion all the time, right? Truckers comparing their rates to
their buddies.
what someone else pays
Yeah.
in another state, which is like, it's tough for us. It's
Yeah.
tough for them once they figure out why.
Yeah, and it's one of the hardest conversations, especially for guys that don't have anything started yet. They call in and they're like, "Hey, my buddy's with you guys. He's only paying $8,000 a year. I want a quote like that." And then I get to know them, and they're in New Jersey or Louisiana, where the prices are crazy. So, in this video, we're just gonna break it down, talk more about state by state, which states tend to run higher, which tend to run lower, and most importantly, what's actually driving your quote regardless of where you are.
All right, before we get into it, who is this conversation really for? Is it for new trucking companies, or does it apply to people who've been running for years?
Yep. Yeah, both, honestly. I've seen it both ways. New authorities, they're trying to budget for their first year. There's lots of startup expenses, and they're usually really shocked by the numbers. They might be used to personal auto insurance numbers, and they hear a commercial quote for the first time. Yeah, and it can be shocking for sure. Yeah, but I also talk to guys who have been running for 5 or 6 years, and they think their state alone is the main reason they're paying what they pay, when there's lots of other factors like their driving record, their credit, their radius. Some agents don't go above and beyond, and they just write as you ask them to, but there's lots of things that can cause these price differences for sure. So understanding what actually drives your rate puts you in a better position to do something about it.
Cool. Well, let's find out. All right, let's start at the top. Why do commercial truck insurance rates vary so much from state to state?
Yeah, so insurance companies are all about risk, okay? So every state has a different risk environment. So that means, things like claim frequency, severity, litigation, medical costs, repair costs, weather exposure, Florida and Louisiana, flood zones.
A lot of things out of your control.
Yeah. So, a state with more accidents, more lawsuits. If you're driving down the highway and you see those big billboards all the time with a trucking bad guy and a "we'll fight for you," that might be a really high paying
Louisiana.
Yeah, all of Louisiana. Higher claims mean higher premiums. So, it's not politics, it's just math at the end of the day.
Yeah. There might be a little bit of politics.
Maybe some.
I have my conspiracy theories.
Maybe some.
All right. Can you give me some context on how big that gap can actually get between just states?
Yeah.
Like one box truck company in South Carolina versus one box truck company in Florida.
Huge. Yep. Data shows over a 240% difference in policy premiums from one state to another, and that's not an exaggeration.
I actually did not know that statistic.
Wow. I see that all the time. So like, for example, I've written guys long haul, their auto liability premiums are about $9,000 for the year, which is amazing. Those are in states, kind of in the Midwest, Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, but I've written the exact same coverage in Louisiana, nothing different, similar driving record, similar age. That same coverage is $20,000 to $30,000 for the year. So they vary state to state, and sometimes you don't know that getting into it. So this is huge.
Jeez, man. Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
All right, and that's where the my friend pays way less than me in another state conversation comes up a lot.
Yeah.
What are truckers usually missing in that comparison?
Yeah, that's huge. It's almost never apples to apples. So, a friend might have a completely different operation. They might have, for example, different cargo types. So if that same friend is only doing general freight, but you're trying to get into hauling autos, you're gonna pay much more because that's a much riskier type of cargo to move.
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't tell you all the details. They just tell you the premium because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters to most people. But um, another big one is your driving record. Your buddy might have a spotless record. If you have accidents and speeding tickets, I've seen MVR double your price after running it. So
Or more.
yeah, we get our hopes up and then we run MVR and everything comes crashing down. So that's another really big factor there is your MVR.
Does anyone ever pull their MVR before getting insurance quotes?
Never. They're always surprised. They're always surprised. They're like, oh man, that was personal. And it's like, yeah, it looks at your personal driving record, your commercial driving record,
Yeah.
and they don't look back only 3 years. They look back 5 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's the? I'm testing you here. What's the rule on that? Like, what's the little caveat?
What do you mean?
The 3-year thing. It's a 3-year cliff, right? So once you get
It drops off big time after
yeah,
3.
the amount that it's weighed into the
Yeah.
premium calculation
Yeah.
after 3 years, Progressive, Geico, a lot of these people. So like some insurance companies are pass fail. Like there's
Yeah.
just like you either can get insurance or you may not have insurance from a particular company. So if you have too much stuff on your MVR, it's not even like the rate's just going to cost more. They're just going to tell
just
you no,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not insurable.
Yeah.
But other carriers that do rate, like the premium calculation includes the MVR infractions, violations,
Yeah.
accidents, and it's like a 3-year cliff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just wanted to share that. Yeah, and if you ever watched any of the videos before, it's there's two kinds of people when it comes to asking about MVRs. There's two kinds of people when it comes to asking about MVRs. The ones that hope nothing is on
Yeah.
there, and the ones that know nothing is on there.
Yeah.
And the only way to know is to have your MVR in hand, which is also a DOT requirement.
Yeah, gotta get one anyway.
You gotta have one for your new entrant audit if you're a new venture. You gotta have one. You gotta have an annual MVR. You gotta pull one, even if you're the only driver. You have to pull your own MVR every year and keep that in your records. Pull your own MVR. You kind of have to have it anyways. And then like you have something in your toolbox when you're talking to insurance agents.
Yep.
Yeah, it's better to know than just hope and not.
Yeah.
Yep. So is the state really one of the biggest factors in the quote, or is it just one piece of the puzzle?
So yeah, it matters. It's not the only part, but it's a much bigger puzzle. It's one piece, but yeah. Garaging area specifically in your state, that can help. I've seen zip codes in the same state differ greatly, just one town over, 5 minutes away. I've seen big price changes there.
Yeah.
So it goes down to not just your state, but also the zip code, crime statistics, crash, accidents, everything in that
And
zip code too.
that's like there's truck parking kind of all over the U.S., right? And there might be a truck parking lot in the zip code you live in that's really close to your house, and then maybe 15, 20 minutes further
Yeah.
away is another zip code that is a potentially lower cost on your
Yeah.
premium. And so like if you're not parking at your house and you're parking in one lot versus the other, maybe it makes sense to
100%.
look at that other one.
Try both.
But if you are going to try both, remember that you have to prove it.
Yeah.
You have to have documentation that you are renting a spot there, leasing a spot, whatever.
Yeah.
Or else you can make your down payment. You can get your authority active or keep it active if you're renewing. And then the insurance company will ask for these documents to prove that you
Yeah.
parked there. And if you cannot, they do not owe you a refund.
Yep.
Because the government tells them that they have to wait 35 days to come off of a policy. They can't cancel you same day. So that down payment covers all that first 35 days plus whatever time it took them
Yep.
to figure out they needed garaging
Yeah.
documentation.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not entitled to a refund. So make sure you always have your ducks in a row. Get all your paperwork ahead of time.
Yeah. And we'll make sure to collect that from you up front. We're not going to bind it without that, but some agents won't do that. They'll
Yeah.
take your word for it, 30 days later, you get a cancellation notice and you do nothing about it.
That's
So,
an easy red flag
Yeah.
when you're talking to other
Yeah.
agents. If they're not asking about documentation that they're gonna need,
yeah.
then they certainly don't care about you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've seen guys in the cheap states still pay more than truckers right outside of Atlanta, where it can be super super high.
Oh yeah, major
Um,
metropolitan
Yeah,
areas.
yeah.
no way.
So it's not just the state. Like in that case, it was because their driving record alone really really sucked. Their MVR had a bunch of accidents, tickets. So yeah, they were in a great state, but their driving record's really hurting them. So they're
Yeah.
paying more than the cheap state guy.
Yeah, and credit too. Credit's a big
That's
factor.
huge. Yeah, big factor. It can
whatever-
help you with down payment too. Like in some
Yeah.
markets, they give you a smaller down payment if you have really really high credit.
Yeah.
So that can help getting your credit improved before getting insurance quotes. That'll help you a lot. Save some money up front.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you can do to improve that credit. All right, for owner operators and small fleets specifically, why does it matter to understand how location affects insurance costs?
Yeah, I mean, it affects your ability to budget and plan responsibly and realistically. So, let's say, for example, you're starting out of Florida, which is another notoriously high state, really, really crazy premium state. I used to live there, so I know firsthand it's really expensive.
Yeah.
So if you're starting out of Florida, but you're expecting to pay what your cousin in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, is paying for his insurance, who also has 10 years of authority history, you're in for a rude awakening when you figure out your real insurance premiums. So
Yeah.
if you don't understand where your price is, why is what it is, you might try and start cutting corners and cutting coverages out, thinking, oh, I don't need $1 million liability. I can get away with $750 just to get active. That won't work in the long run. You can't get loads from brokers. You might start taking cargo off, not having physical damage when you need it to try and cut corners.
Yeah.
It'll only save you so much, up front, and then you're really, really in a hard place when a claim happens and you're not covered. So people start cutting costs or cutting coverages to save costs, and that's
Yeah.
the
And then,
last thing you should do.
Yeah, you might call and make that happen, and then realize when a broker needs COI, like he's gonna skip you.
Yeah,
On
you're
getting
just
a
not gonna
load.
get a load. Yep.
Yeah, you're not gonna get booked. All right. So, are there states that are generally more expensive for commercial truck insurance?
Yeah, we've already touched on them a little bit, but like Florida, New York, New Jersey, California's
Yeah.
nuts. Louisiana is
Yeah.
consistently the highest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas is huge. So I've seen that's more of like a zip code thing. I've seen mixed. I've seen good and bad from Texas, and it's hard to say for sure because it never tells me, the agent, exactly why your price is what it is. We just have to kind of use our experience and kind of
Yeah.
estimate why. But yeah, Texas can be a mixed bag.
Okay, so tell me, what is states like Florida, Texas, California, New York, Louisiana? What makes the rates more expensive for like in
Yeah.
general?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a few things. They tend to all like kind of compound on each other though. So like California, litigation is crazy in California. There's
California?
yeah. There's
way.
so I mean it's tough. Like settlements in California tend to go significantly higher than in lower cost states. There's a lot more money in California, so
You're-
maybe people
you're
think they
just-
can get
you're-
more money.
You're piquing my political conspiracies.
That too. I mean, that's the thing. And then Florida, severe weather, hurricanes, flood zones, and
Alligators and snakes.
that too. But yeah, I mean, Florida, California, those states have really tough litigation and weather exposure, especially in Florida and Louisiana, like flood zones in Louisiana. Like we talked about before, if you drive down Louisiana, if you drive in Louisiana, you see those billboards all over the place with the
Yeah.
lawsuits for trucking accidents. So
Oh yeah. Another thing in Florida I've heard about is theft.
oh yeah, big time.
Predominantly in southern Florida.
Yep, big time. That's a huge factor too. So crime statistics in your area and your state make a big difference in your premiums.
There's hotbeds,
Yeah.
Anywhere near port towns,
Yep.
major rail yards,
Huge
and then-
cities.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I forget, was it Cleveland or where was it in Ohio during COVID? Like trucks just kept going missing. Or somewhere,
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
I mean, like, Ohio has notoriously low rates. but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not this place in Ohio
Yeah.
specifically. That's a zip code thing.
Yep.
And then places like New York and New Jersey, like super densely populated, lots of traffic congestion, that's going to make a huge rate increase.
That
And then,
makes sense.
let alone New Jersey specifically, the only state they require for all CDL trucks over 26,000 pounds
Yeah.
for you to have $1.5 million of auto liability, where the FMCSA only requires 750.
Way to go, New Jersey.
Yeah, it's insane. So if you're thinking about starting in New Jersey, all the videos everywhere else say you only need 750, but you're going to be driving a semi, and you don't know you need 1.5. Another rude awakening
We
is coming for you.
we touched on documentation for garaging in wherever you're garaging your truck,
Oh,
parking
yeah.
it when you're not running. When we say garaging on insurance, which you guys would understand is like where you park it when you're not hauling, right? And so if you're in New Jersey and you park somewhere around Philly,
Yep.
or just anywhere outside of New Jersey to avoid that 1.5 million, number one, if your driver's license is not in the state that we're writing a policy in, and the policy has to be written where the truck is being parked,
Yes.
that's a ginormous red flag.
Yep.
Like you are getting audited, I mean, full colonoscopy, okay?
Yeah.
And then, and it's also a surcharge for most,
Out of state.
most
yeah.
insurance companies are going to surcharge you for not being licensed in the state that you
Yeah.
are writing the policy in. And then, like documentation, they're going to be very scrupulous. They're probably going to call the landlord or whoever runs the
Yeah.
business says, on the documentation where like you have a lease agreement or whatever, rental agreement. They're going to really dig in. So
Yep.
be prepared.
Yeah, and then another one, we talked about this a lot. This is the biggest one, I think. The most expensive state is Louisiana. And the litigation environment there's multiple documented nuclear verdicts, which is where payments exceed sometimes $10 million in a single case. So that's far exceeding your $1 million coverage that you have on your policy. That's that state where
So what you're saying is don't start a trucking company there, but definitely get hit by a trucker there.
Yeah, if that's what you're gonna do, get hit by one and go to court, you'll probably get a huge payout if they were at fault. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, these are trends and not certainties. I've had really good policies come out of Louisiana, New Jersey. It's not just because it's a quote unquote bad state doesn't mean it's gonna be for you. There's a lot of specific you factors.
Yeah. So in states where the base rates have to be higher, those other factors play a bigger role.
Yep.
So like having a perfectly clean MVR and like if you are a CDL driver, having 2-3+ years,
Yep.
making sure that credit is really good.
Phenomenal.
Any discount possible that you can apply for is probably going to be weighted heavier
Yep.
in the higher priced base rate states.
Some insurance, like having prior insurance, like personal auto insurance for a year at least, is going to get you a really big discount from the front or from the start. So that'll help you out a lot in those states.
Yeah. And hey, drop a comment right now. What state are you operating in? I want to see where everyone's coming from. We'll talk about some state specifics as we keep going here.
Okay.
So tell me more about it. Are there states that are usually more affordable for trucking insurance?
For sure. Yep. I see, a lot of Midwestern states being the cheapest. Places like Iowa, Nebraska, the Dakotas sometimes, Colorado. I seen a $6,000 premium for a semi just today from
That's crazy.
Colorado Springs.
Wow.
So yep. All of those places have a lot in common. They are
love
way
Colorado Springs.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's very low congestion compared to like a New York or a California. Less accidents, lower medical bills, less litigation, less huge payouts. So all of those things can help make it a lower cost state, but it doesn't mean it's cheap for everybody.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before, already a brand new authority in Iowa, for example, could still pay more than a very experienced operator out of California, because there's still so many individual things that make quotes more expensive than others. But
depending on what state you are in, This is another like factor you can't really control, but something to know about and really keep in mind is the number of insurance companies that sell insurance in your state.
Yeah.
There's not really a list out there. It's maybe something we should probably work on.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
But you know, like let's say, like everyone almost, you start with Progressive, Geico, one of the quick and easy ones, and then you know you go get a quote through maybe Canal or Northland or something that you qualify for after some time and making sure you don't have any claims, good record, all that. If you leave on bad terms, as in not paying your final bill with that Progressive or Geico, you might not have anything to fall back on.
Yep.
We see that a lot. Where
They'll lock you out for a year at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get stonewalled.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep up the relationships. Understand like what the market options are, or try to learn that.
Yeah.
That's something we can always help with. So
Don't burn your bridges.
feel free
before
to
you-
ask.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We should definitely.
Yeah.
We'll get a blog going for that. We'll
Yeah.
work on that.
Yeah.
Insurance company options by state.
Yeah.
We could probably drill it down like operation types, years of experience, like the criteria.
Yeah.
That'd be really good for people to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do not burn bridges,
Yeah.
because you're probably gonna need that bridge again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that leads us into a question I know comes up. Should someone ever consider opening or registering their business in another state specifically to get cheaper insurance?
No, please don't do it. Don't do it. It's not that simple. Everyone thinks I'm just going to set my business up in Wyoming to save some money. That's where my business is, but I park in Louisiana.
Oh, you mean that, what was it, 32 North
Sure,
Gold?
yeah, North Gold Street. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a huge parking lot there. It's not just a random big known
I did
address.
the math on it one time. It was like $200,000 or $300,000 in
Yeah.
FMCSA application fees
Yeah.
that
Just for
were
that.
paid by people that never went active.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's insane.
In 1 year.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All that $300 that everyone talks about,
Yeah.
just that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. I mean, so to answer your question though, if you register your business somewhere, great. You can register it wherever you want to. I guess the state that we write the policy in is your garaging address.
Yeah.
So, if you park in Florida but your business address is Wyoming, doesn't matter. You're getting a policy in Florida. So.
Yeah. Yes, and one thing to keep in mind, we talk about documentation, like verifying things. Underwriters at the insurance companies are kind of getting beat up in two directions. One, by the insurance company that they work for, because profitability across every insurance company that writes trucking, like, well, let's just put it this way, there were only 2 last year that were profitable. Okay, so they have to tighten up on underwriting so that they don't have to quit selling trucking insurance, right? Or else that's going to be the outcome, which is not just higher rates for the remaining insurance companies that you would have as an option, but like not having options is a really bad idea. We don't want any monopolies.
Yep.
And then the other side is the FMCSA, like the non-domicile CDL situation. Like everything that keeps coming from the FMCSA, there's just the crackdowns have been insane this year and last year as well. So it's twofold, and just something to keep in mind, take seriously.
I tell guys that you used to be able to get away with this in the past. Like everyone's like, my buddy said to do it here, and maybe you used to be able to get away with it, but now it's not. And if you get caught, it's a when you get caught.
No, there was like a huge percentage of New York City-based trucking companies that had their insurance out of North Carolina back in the mid-2010s because North Carolina just wasn't verifying anything.
Yep.
And then in 2019, they started doing it, and they had continuous rate hikes like every 6 months. So it was like a 20% hike, a 40% hike, a 10% hike. And now North Carolina rates aren't near what they used to. It used to be the best state in the country. Thanks, New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Yep. And not only was it the best rates, there was the most options, right? Because there's just more insurance companies willing to do business here, or able to do business here, and because they're not going to do business if they can't turn a profit, right? Like they just like you wouldn't if being a trucker, like you're not. This isn't a charity.
Yeah.
You got to see it like that.
Yeah.
So trying to use a different state address to get a lower quote, that doesn't work, right?
No, it doesn't work. You're you're not going to get away with it anymore. Maybe back in the day you used to be able to, but you're not going to. You've seen all the flock cameras put up everywhere.
Yeah.
They're scanning DOTs, they're scanning license plates, they're cross-referencing things. The
Hi-
insurance companies are losing money, so they're
Yeah.
going to investigate more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Highway has every VIN number on a
Yeah.
live data feed from
Mhm.
the brokers wanting to use Highway to verify.
20 years ago you could,
Yeah.
but not anymore. You can't. So,
Yeah.
and then the other thing to keep in mind too is when you have a claim. Well, I mean, insurance sucks having to pay all this money for it, but when you have a claim, you want to make sure, okay, at least I'm getting this $100,000 worth of cargo covered. But when something doesn't match up on your claim, that's the insurance adjuster's job, is to dig through a policy, make sure it's actually covering and accurate and supposed to cover what you say it's supposed to cover.
Yeah.
And when the claim comes, they find something wrong with your policy, they're going to try everything they can to not pay out. So
Jeez.
you don't want to save a couple bucks by going in a different state, have a claim, and then be in court for years fighting a battle that
No thanks.
yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth a couple extra dollars.
Good lord. Jeez. Okay, but what about someone that like genuinely moves their operation to another state? Like they're
Yeah.
selling their house in Florida, they file their LLC in Ohio, they
Yep.
actually move there, they buy property, they rent an apartment, they
Yep.
get a parking spot, and
That's
have
that
Okay.
situation is totally fine. Working with a lady doing that right now. She's
Okay.
moving from California to Texas, and it's a long process. It's not just right away. It's not just instant. She had to change her LLC from California, which takes forever, to Texas. She's finally getting it done. It's been a couple months just back and forth, checking in, how's it going. But yeah, you're able to do that, no problem. Now, when doing that, you want to make sure you're talking to an agent that knows how to get the right documentation and proof in for you.
Yeah.
Like what we talked about earlier.
when should you get a quote if you're thinking about moving?
So we tried it in this situation, and it was still crazy because it was probably flagging her for this exact thing, thinking that she's California trying to say Texas, but
Mhm.
not really. So I would say the best time to get a quote would be after all the move is done and you're
Yeah.
settled, and at least have addresses, business,
Yeah.
everything set there.
Yeah.
Then change FMCSA, update all your addresses
Right.
to match your new business, and then get a
So in this scenario, like from my experience, you can be looking at a property, have that address. You don't have to verify anything for a quote, but one thing you should absolutely do if you are considering a move and all that is get your driver's license switched over.
That's big too.
First.
Yeah, that's big too.
Like if we know that it's probably going to be cheaper from one state to another, like you can get a quote, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to be well.
You'll
I guess
still
you
have the
could.
surcharge for the
Yeah.
out-of-state license if you
Yeah.
don't, so it's still not going to be accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess an estimate, you can get an estimate early to
Mhm.
see if it makes sense, but
Yeah.
Quotes
But
aren't
to be
gonna
more
hold up.
accurate,
Yeah.
or to really close,
Yeah.
you want to get the driver's
Yeah.
license ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're actually moving in this situation too. You're not just moving on paper, you're actually moving, because if you still park your truck where you're saying you're moving from and a claim happens, we fall back into what we've already talked about. It's not going to get paid out and you're going to be screwed.
Yeah, and one thing adjusters will look at in a claim scenario is ELD data,
Yeah.
bills of lading. Was it possible for you to park where you said you parked?
You can't say you live in,
Yeah.
you can't park across the country and it makes sense. You can't
Yeah.
make it make sense to an adjuster. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and if you want insurance rates to go down, don't lie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
collectively, everyone has to not lie.
Yeah.
Because what it boils down to is the math and the statistics, right? So like if they can't get accurate stats on the claims and where they're happening, they can't accurately rate for that area and scenario.
So
I
there's
know
built-in margin
it
to-
drives me absolutely nuts, like how, I guess, inefficient and like the method people, the actuaries at the insurance companies use to come up with the rates, right? And do all this, claims versus, pricing, premium pricing.
Yeah.
It drives me a little nuts, but it's the best they can do right now.
Yep.
Hopefully one day it's better.
It'll get better. It'll get better. More data. It'll get better. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've established that state is one piece of the puzzle. Beyond the state, what are the biggest factors that affect a commercial truck insurance quote?
So, the big five maybe would be things like freight type. your radius, so how far you're actually going one way. Your driver experience is huge. An 18-year-old on a non-CDL operation is going to have a crazy price compared to a very experienced CDL holder.
Okay.
That's big. We'll have violations, accidents, tickets,
Credit.
credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that,
Yeah.
but that's big too.
Oh.
And
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I have a CDL. I drive a semi. Does the accident I got in 6 months ago in my personal vehicle count?
Yes, yes. Everyone thinks, I'll read it out. It's like, oh, there was an accident last year at this time. Like, that was personal. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's the same. It's still on your MVR. Some people think if it's not on their commercial
You're
record,
still behind the wheel.
yeah, you're still driving, and that's still on your MVR for 5 years.
Yep.
3 years in some, 5 years in
And
others.
you're a
So,
professional driver.
Yeah.
Accidents happen,
Yeah.
right? But in the world, this is like a sad, harsh reality. In the world of commercial insurance, especially trucking, so there is like a really sad, harsh reality about commercial insurance, commercial auto insurance, especially in trucking, right? It's not about, were you at fault or not. It's a matter of like, if it happens to you, it's your fault for not preventing it.
Yeah.
All right, like you got to
it
make
sucks,
sure.
but it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to defend the castle, right? And like make sure you don't get in accidents, even if you're not at fault, or even if the fault is shared,
Yep.
right? It's still gonna crush you.
Yeah. Go 5 under, or go the speed limit.
Yeah.
Don't tailgate.
Or
Don't
go
over.
100 over and
Yeah.
get an attorney to get out of the way, and then get
Yes.
the ticket.
Yeah.
Make the ticket disappear. I didn't say that, but yeah. A little off the record. All right. Okay, so starting with freight, how much does the type of cargo actually impact the premium rates?
Huge, yeah. So cargo is one of the biggest risk factors that underwriters look at to determine premium or to determine costs. So, different freight, different exposure. Okay, so general freight is like the baseline. That's what most guys do. Amazon Relay is a good example of that. Warehouse to warehouse, that's not going to be nearly as expensive as refrigerated goods.
Yeah.
Because refrigerated goods, you're putting way more lives at risk, not just on the road, but delivering food temperature controlled. You can't have meat go bad in your truck.
Spoilage.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. So that's another whole
Those refrigerated
rabbit
units
hole.
break.
Yeah, quite often. So that's going to be much more risky. And then in some cases, even riskier is hauling autos. Cars. A lot of guys getting into hot shotting think I'm going to do some cars, and they quickly see the difference in premium because I'll tend to do both for you. I'll do one as general freight, one as autos, so you can see the difference. And cars are usually way more risky to haul and more expensive.
Yeah, it's like individual product, the car at a typically higher value. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So those are some big ones. And the biggest difference is hauling hazardous materials. So the minimum
Makes
coverage
sense.
from the FMCSA goes from $750,000 up to $5 million
Auto liability.
minimum. So that means in some cases 3 or 5 times more expensive insurance for
Jeez.
hauling hazmat. So maybe stay away from that to start. Maybe work into that after a few years of general freight or something like that if you want to break in.
Fair enough. What about operating radius? Like how much does the operating radius affect the price?
A lot. And kind of a tangent, I guess, but a lot of times guys will tell me, oh, I have a cheaper quote from the same company, from Progressive. And I look at the radius, and sure enough, the other agent put a 100-mile radius, not knowing the FMCSA minimum of having a 500-mile radius your first year. So some guys like to be a little shady with that, put a smaller radius to start, pretend they made a mistake, and then change it on the back end. Then you're paying more than my quote to begin with. But radius is a huge factor. I've seen premiums change $5,000 to $10,000 a year just by going from an unlimited radius, more than 500 miles, to 500 miles or less. If you're trying to get your authority started, those are your only 2 options. But if you are trying to do local only, like you don't need your MC number, you're just trying to stay intra-state within your state, another big change can happen from a state like Texas, where you want to have a really big radius to be able to do all of Texas, versus a very small state like, I don't know, Connecticut. It's like a highway. I guess. You could
Yeah.
have a 50-mile radius and probably be fine in Connecticut, where
Yeah.
Texas, you'd kind of be shooting yourself in the foot. So
Jeez. Okay.
radius is huge. That can make a big, big difference.
What about driver experience? Why does that matter so much to underwriters?
Yeah. So they're going to look at an 18-year-old, kind of like with personal auto, like 18-year-old high schooler, that first car, you're going to pay way more premium because statistically, younger drivers with no experience are responsible for more accidents, which
Yeah.
is a fair assumption. I wasn't the best driver as an 18-year-old. I got in trouble a little bit.
I
so.
certainly wasn't.
Yeah, so I mean, I get it. And versus a 40-year CDL holder with no accidents, they're going to see that guy as way more experienced, way more qualified. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And it's not just the primary driver either. So let's say you're adding multiple drivers. Like if you have a small fleet, like 3 or 4 trucks and 3 or 4 drivers, it's not just one driver gets the rate and you can add whoever you want after. It's a per driver rating.
Yeah.
So
Each one
can
driver's
affect.
record is going to impact the rate.
I've
Yeah.
seen adding another driver to a policy help the price, so it goes down, and then I've seen it hurt the price too and cause the premium to go up way too much by adding someone with lots of accidents and tickets. So
Yeah. One thing I want to add, because I saw an email about this today. Someone was asking about if I add a driver, how do I because they were talking about adding on a leased on owner operator, and that person's truck and driver, and they're like, can you help me they wanted to know what the billing breakdown would be to add the truck and driver. And what happens, let's say Progressive, for instance, when you add a truck and or a driver, the impact to the premium, it's not like it's like a singular cost for the driver, a singular cost for the truck, the trailer.
everything's adjusted.
So yes, there's percentages that change across the entire policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Auto liability is now a little bit more expensive. Cargo is a little bit more expensive.
For everybody.
Yeah, it's just straight across.
So it's like one change is dependent on the last change.
Yeah, it compounds.
Yep. So let's bring it all together. Quick summary. What are the key takeaways?
So I'd say number 1 is your state matters, but it's not the end all be all. It's not the most important thing.
Yeah.
Crazy high states like New York, California, Louisiana, New Jersey.
Just move.
Yeah, just move. Don't live there. Operate somewhere else.
Jeez.
If you want to save some money. And there's real reasons for that. You can see data. It's not just, you're not a victim. It just is what it is in the state. There's data to prove that it's more risky to have a business there than to be trucking out of that state. And then the second thing would be the my friend pays less comparison. It's all rated based on you. So if your friend is not you, you will get a different price.
Yeah.
That one drives me nuts as an agent. I hear it all the time.
Where do you live? What's your credit?
There's
What's
so
your driving
many.
record?
There's over 400 rating factors that go into each quote. So it's not likely that your friend's twin with everything exactly the same.
And not all 400 are controllable.
Yeah. You can't change a lot of those. So get a quote for you. You are you. You're going to get a different number than anyone else will. So
Fair enough.
another one. Everyone thinks registering your LLC in a state that's tax free, like Tennessee, no state income tax will save them a ton of money. It's not going to make a difference at all for your insurance price. You might want to try and get away with something else for tax fraud, I guess, if you're trying to do that. But that's not
Jeez.
going to change your insurance at all by registering your LLC in another state.
Good Lord.
And then another one is your MVR. A lot of guys don't pull it, like we talked about at the start. They don't pull their own MVR. They don't know that their record sucks, and they don't know that commercial and personal are the same. They think it's all separate. So MVR can really make a huge negative impact if it's not a clean record.
Yeah. All right. So if someone watching this wants to understand what their specific operation should be actually paying, what's the very first next step?
Just call us at LogRock. All I do and all we do all day is talk to truckers, specifically new owner operators and new ventures. So brand new DOTs, MCs. We know this can be stupidly expensive in some circumstances, but we'll be able to walk you through. Even if it's not a good price, we'll walk you through like your options and what it'll take to get a better quote. And if you're already on the road, then you can get another quote just to see like, hey, maybe you already have a good price, or if you do happen to fall into some of these things we've talked about, maybe we can get you a better quote to fix that, so you can be paying less, bringing home more.
Nice.
Yeah.
And if this gave you clarity on what's actually driving your insurance costs, please like and subscribe. Don't miss our next trucking business guide. We're putting out content constantly now, pretty much every week. So stay safe out there. We'll see you in the next one.